Going back to the tour, I'm wondering, like, did you find that there was like different crowd energy in like the different places that you went, and you had to like kind of tailor your performance to wherever you were, or like the energy that you felt?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I was saying how like you can tell Americans are just far more boisterous about things.
Right.
For a live scenario, that's fucking amazing because they will cheer you on to everything. And they're so much like more energetic, and they're just so much more. Maybe they're more attuned to live culture or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're just loud, but it's great. It made me feel awesome. But then going to Europe, it was very different because there's like some jokes that are kind of like about Ireland and like being a Catholic boy and being an altar boy in church and things like that. And I think Americans relate to Irish people very much, considering they all tell me they're Irish.
Yeah.
But don't know any places from there.
Yeah.
But I think
Guinness factory, of course.
You go to Boston and suddenly everyone's Irish.
But places like France and Germany, like there was language barriers and stuff, and like Irish humor didn't really play as easily. People were still fun and they had energy and they were still energetic about it, but some places laugh more than others. And then having a joke about like, I had a joke about being an altar boy, and then I was saying like teenage years got dark or whatever, and it was like a joke about basically hinting at like priest versus altar boy culture,
Right.
but not saying anything about it, obviously, just letting the audience like make that interpretation. And then I was like, no, not that kind of show. And people would laugh, but Salt Lake City did not like it's like Mormon Mecca. Where all the Mormons like go, and like big churches right there, and they were kind of like, don't like that one.
Do people like come up to you after the show, for example, and like, you know, be like, oh, hey, you know, I really liked your show, but like this joke was kind of weird, or, you know, because you hear about like comedians doing that, right? Like after the show, they'd like go into the crowd and be like, meet the fans, or like, you know. And
it turns out it's really easy when you're not transphobic. Like, if you're not saying racist shit, transphobic shit, homophobic shit, it's real easy to like put on a show without those jokes in there.
What a hot take.
Only the hottest takes here on Trash
It's
Taste.
really easy not to punch down on.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, my jokes never really went that far, and a lot of stuff is about my life and my experience through it. So it's like,
Luckily, you weren't a transphobic racist. Is it?
Yeah.
Life's much better when you're not though.
When a joke doesn't land, does it like, because like I can imagine it like in like a Twitch scenario. I can't imagine it in a live scenario where you're just like, this joke's gonna land.
Yeah, because
it's just
if you say a joke on Twitch, right, the worst thing you'll have is someone in the chat being like, that wasn't funny.
Yeah.
But when they're in front of you doing that, I'm sure it hurts a lot more, right?
Yeah, there's been a couple of times where like I have a big punchline, and there was like one joke near the end of the show that even now, like I just didn't know how to get the punchline across.
Right.
And I would say it, and then people laughed at the thing before it a little louder. Like, oh, that's not the punchline. I'm like, do I move on from this now and like cut it off there, or do I? But I'm a whore for a laugh. I'll keep hammering it until someone laughs, and then if it's really cringy, you just lean into that and be like, no takers? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought we were here for a comedy show, but I guess not. And then the show in London, I did it at the Troxy Theatre, and I don't know why I said that. No one fucking knows where that is. But I did it there, and the projector broke, so the HDMI connection didn't work. So when I had to have the game on screen, it didn't show up. So I had to like vamp for a bit and like build up the crowd and like bake it into the show. But then people said it was funny, and I'm like, you got a more unique experience, I guess, out of it.
Yeah.
So sometimes the cringe kind of like helps, but there's definitely times where I'm like drowning on stage, and I'm like, please, just now, I don't have enough material.
That makes me feel good that at least I have these two to rely on.
Right? Like, I don't think I could ever do like a solo like stage show. Like,
if we drown together.
With enough prep, you'd be able to do it.
Right.
I think any of you would be able to.
I hope so.
Right.
Maybe one day, I don't know. But this time around, at least it'll just be us three. We got each other's backs. Yeah.
What are you guys going to do in the show?
That's a really good question.
Well, I mean, like,
time to start thinking about it.
I mean, without spoiling any of the ideas that we have right now, like the general idea is to bring the Trash Taste experience, which we're famous for, just on stage. Because
basically what you're experiencing right now, Sean. We want to give the audience a little bit of a taste of basically, being on the show, being part of the show, kind of,
Better paced, hopefully.
Yeah, but hopefully better paced with less tangents, maybe. We'll see how it goes.
It will be more structured than one of our episodes, but it'll be like, the highlights of why you like the Trash Taste show and everything, just brought on stage.
Sure, you have your own running jokes that you can bring back.
No, do we have our own running?
Many,
jokes?
Yeah.
bring people up on stage. That's always a crowd pleaser as well. And
that's always so scary though, like that concept, because it's like, what if you accidentally bring the wrong kind of person up on stage?
Oh yeah, that
because I'm sure that's happened.
It happened in Iowa, where it's like I brought people up and being like, "Do you have a YouTube name?" Because it's like, if you're going to sit in the chair and like do the thing, if you have a YouTube, now is the time to shout it out. So maybe people here will go home and watch you if you're good at this. But then it was a chance for people to make up their own name, and then I would make up like titty sprinkles and things like that.
Right.
But then one guy got up and said that he was R-word giraffe. And I was like, and the crowd cheered. And I was like, okay. I was like, nah, you've got a different name. And I was kind of just had to like cut it off and like move on immediately. But you don't want to like bum the crowd out and like admonish the person on stage.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But at the same time, it's kind of weird to be like, all right, thank you, R-word giraffe, for coming on stage.
It was just
round of applause.
Round of applause for R-word giraffe.
Yeah, it was tough.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I guess that just comes with experience then. That like hearing your stories, that scares me, but it also makes me excited. It sounds like a very, very fun experience.
I mean, I think everyone there kind of, because you're not like professional comedians, you're not like John Mulaney getting up. So people expect them to handle it better.
Right.
And like hecklers and stuff, because I've been doing it for years and there's like a formula to it. But I think with our type of content, I think people are far more forgiving if you kind of like stall on stage and people are like, I wouldn't know how to deal with that.
Yeah, but like I also think like a lot of YouTubers, we started off doing YouTube videos because we were not good at maybe like speaking in front of like a public audience, or maybe that's just how we were as a kid. You know, we never thought that we'd be like standing up on stage in a panel and like public speaking basically. And so sometimes it's a real learning curve to be like, maybe this is actually really fun, and it's a skill that you develop in your career which you never thought you would. I guess.
I think the secret to me for live shows was to not be afraid of the audience.
Right.
Because there's a tendency that there's so many more of them and now they're here and they demand a good show because they're paying for it.
Yeah.
But if they started heckling or anything, I would just like shit on them immediately.
Right.
Be like, it's not a fucking classroom. Like, you don't have all the answers. And like bake that into the show. And then they're kind of like, okay, I'll be quiet.
Right.
Or if someone gets up and says the wrong thing, then you just hand them the mic and be like, okay, good luck. Like, you handle the fucking crowd there. There's a bunch of little things like that, and I think getting over that fear of like the audience can't like destroy me while I'm up here.
Yeah,
I should take notes.
Yeah, right.
Oh, if only there was some other way you could look back.
I can't
watch back.
I don't watch my own shows.